I'm Warren Burgess, and I'm riding with the Coast to Coast team to raise funds for UCAN, the Urological Cancer Society. Many of you won't know that I was diagnosed with prostate cancer 2 years ago. I was very fortunate to have had the facilities here and the excellent service from UCAN to diagnose me promptly and help me make my choice about treatment. I want to do my bit to ensure that this facility continues on for the many people that come through here every year. There's about 600 people per annum come through here in the northeast of Scotland with urological cancers. I also want to do this to raise awareness about prostate cancer. At age 51, I was oblivious to prostate cancer. Within a couple of months, I realised I had it and was going to be treated for it. I was lucky to have caught it at a reasonably early stage and had treatment options open to me. So I would recommend to everyone, every male over 50, to have the tests done. They're very simple and quick to do. So we need to take the initiative, raise awareness amongst your friends, and just go get the checks done. It could save your life.
I think one of the big things that struck me when I came here is that what a big secret it was. That it wasn't something that was openly talked about, and it certainly didn't have the profile that some of the female cancers perhaps would have. Generally because it's a lot of it's to do with your toilet bits.
Yeah, I'm Sam McClinton. I'm a consultant urologist here at Aberdeen Royal Infirmary, and we set up UCAN as a charity about 4 years ago now, myself and my colleague James, and we set it up because we were aware from our patients telling us that we weren't delivering all of the things that they needed to help them through that journey when they get that terrible diagnosis of a cancer. We weren't helping them with information that they needed. We weren't helping their families. And we weren't helping to disseminate information about the various diseases that are grouped in urological cancers.
Initially we tried to get men in particular to come to us to get information. One of the things that we were very aware of was that people were coming forward far too late to get a diagnosis that would give them a real quality of life after treatment. So therefore the issue was to get people to be aware of the symptoms so that they could come forward early enough, and to knock the stigma out of the whole subject, again, so that people were prepared to talk about it. So we set about, as I said, it was difficult to get men to come to us, so we went to the workplaces, to Rotary clubs, to sports associations, to anybody who would listen to us. And we must have spoken, in the 4 years, we've probably spoken to tens of thousands of people in the northeast of Scotland.
NHS at that time didn't feel that they could provide that, and weren't sure that this was part of their job, if you like. And part of what UCAN is about is to do these things, evaluate them, and show that they actually do make a big difference to patients. And then we can hand that over to the NHS in due course. One of our big aims was to raise awareness, because we wanted men who are particularly bad at going to see their doctors or complaining about things. So we wanted to raise awareness among men so that they would actually seek help at an earlier stage. The hope being that if you raise awareness and people do seek help, that eventually that will focus through and you will find people getting treated sooner, and hopefully therefore you have a higher chance of curing them.
But it's shocking how little people know about the urological system and the signs and symptoms that they should be looking for. And unfortunately, from a layperson's point of view, the minute you start to speak about cancer, people assume that that's what they're going to have. And in so many cases, coming forward early will identify the fact that there may be a problem, but it's not necessarily sinister.
Going forward, we've got this facility up and running. It's very well used and very well liked by patients. We have nurses and fundraisers who go out and do awareness raising. Because one of the big problems that people with cancer have is that they're often faced with quite difficult decisions without really enough information to help them make those decisions. So we're developing a whole range of information, leaflets, videos, different types of information to allow people to make these decisions.
And there's such important quality of life issues with these particular cancers. You know, really, if you can't play golf because you can't get around the golf course without needing to go to the loo, then that's a problem. If you have to get up half a dozen times in the night, you're going to be exhausted, particularly if you're still working. You know, it does affect the way people live their lives.
Yes.
We've learned a lot. We've learned that patients and their families really appreciate the help that they get, and that difference is so profound that a lot of other cancer groups within the hospital who've been to see our centre and see our patients are going to try and follow the same model. So we found a model that we think works, and we have other hospitals in Scotland who do the same.
I think we hope to continue to raise the profile of these particular cancers and of UCAN as a charity. We want to take the message further into the communities of the North East of Scotland, because it's easy in a city centre like Aberdeen, but there are a lot of people who live in outlying districts who aren't getting the message early enough. So we plan to do a lot more of that. And then we hope to raise funds for a piece of robotic equipment which will help with the treatment of, with the surgical treatment of these particular cancers.
So our next phase of fundraising will be to develop some new theatres for operating, which are purpose-built and will allow us to do the keyhole surgery, the robotic surgery that is now becoming the norm. But again, it's an expensive process to start, and again we're working with the NHS to develop a business plan where we will raise the money to provide the equipment and run it for a period of time, show that it works, and then the NHS will then take it over again. I'd like to encourage you to support Warren and his team and their endeavours. And I think the cycle ride is a fantastic endeavour to raise money for a very worthwhile charity. I hope you'll support him as much as possible. We would like you to raise as much money as possible for what we think is a really worthwhile cause. Thank you.